Lower Marlboro and the area around Lower Marlboro has some interesting folk tales, legends, lore, whatever you might want to call it. Probably the most fascinating one is the legend of the Hornets' nest. And the story goes that when the British came into Lower Marlboro, they met a young boy, and the young boy, probably pretty precocious for his age, had the audacity to take a hornet's nest where he had plugged up the hole of it and took it on board one of the British ships. And he said, "This is a hummingbird nest. And if you keep the plug in until you get out to sea, and then you open that plug, the hummingbirds will not be able to get back to land, and they will stay with you and entertain you during your voyage." And then he would shake the wasp nest, and he would say, "Can you hear? Those are the hummingbirds inside." And supposedly the British took the gift, and of course, anxious to see the hummingbirds, did not wait until they got out to sea, but pulled the plug, and then the wasps came out. The wasps began to sting all of the sailors that were on board the vessels. And one of the story goes that Coburn himself literally dove into the Patuxent River to get away from the wasps. If you lived in Lower Marlboro in 1814, which is the big year of the War of 1812, where most of the action happened in this particular area, just think what it was like to look out on that river and at one time see 17 barges with cannon being rowed and sailed, which are part of the Chesapeake flotilla, going up that river to try to escape the British that are coming up behind them. Not only would you have seen that, but you would have also seen a British flotilla that came up to attack Lower Marlboro. And then also think about the landing troops from Benedict who are marching up on the opposite side of the river. And then think about the supporting naval vessels, the Royal Naval vessels that are coming up the river that would have gone right by Lower Marlboro. And then think about after the occupation of Washington, where from Lower Marlboro you could have looked at the sky on the night of August the 24th, and you could have seen the red glow from the burning of Washington, D.C. And then only a few days later, seeing other British vessels coming back down the river, again loaded with contraband, loaded with wounded people from the fighting at the Battle of Bladensburg. Think about what it would have been like for you to see all of that kind of stuff. And do you know that I am not aware of a single letter or a single newspaper account that talked about that kind of thing? So we can only imagine what it must have been like. It's just too bad that no one really set it down to pen and ink. And if they did, we've just never found it. Maybe they're lost to time.